It's time for another silly video, and the reason why we're all gathered here is this book, Austerlitz by W.G. Sebald. I read this, did not like it, thought I'd make a separate book review of it, since when you don't like books, it's much easier to talk about them than when you love a book, or so I find. But the thing is that a lot of people love this for the language, but the language was my problem with it, and it made me think, do I really care about language at all? And I do, but I don't. And that's what I'm going to talk about. If I say that language isn't important to me or in general, that would of course be a lie. I depend on people communicating the right words to me, and I am dependent on doing the same towards everyone else around me to make myself understood. But when it comes to books and texts, I just want to understand what is going on. I don't want to be unsure. There could be stuff in books where I'm wondering what is happening now, but I don't want that to be based on the words I'm reading, rather the context or where the development in the story is going. Did that make sense? It's like when I read Murakami, I know that there are a lot of things I won't understand, but at least I understand the sentences. I get what they're trying to tell me, and I just assume that at some point I will understand where this is heading. But when reading this, I was constantly wondering, what does that mean? Where are we now? And who are you talking to? And who is talking? And that just makes me frustrated. If you've read this book and you're now watching my video because you loved it, like, doesn't this bother you, or am I just too stupid? Is that the thing? Because that is how I'm feeling when I read books like this. I just feel very alone with myself, and I'm constantly judging myself for not understanding the text. And one thing is for sure, when I read text like this and I feel left out or I feel abandoned by the book, so to speak, I start questioning myself. But that again makes me just, my mind disappears from the text itself, and I have to go back again and again to try to read it out loud and see if I could understand this time. And if I then don't understand the sentence the second time around, or it's not like I don't understand the words, I just don't understand what they're trying to tell me. And that leads to my frustration, which I'm sharing with you now. This all leads me over to the question, how do I get better at reading texts? Do I have to go to school, take lessons in understanding text? Is that the thing? Because the last 3 years I've read a whole lot of books without me feeling that that is heading in any sort of positive direction when it comes to understanding words. So that does not help. Also, sometimes when I read English books, of course, that could be a barrier, but this is in Norwegian and I should be able to understand it. And the thing is that when I go to Instagram or BookTube or whatever, I see some of my internet friends and books they like, and some of them I know if they like this book, and a lot of them do, I know that this isn't going to be a success for me. And why is that? It's like, it's not about... It's hard to explain. It's not about, is it plot driven, is it character driven? It's more about the language in itself. And like, some people just like complex language. I call this complex language. For some, it might just be like ordinary text that I get through on a daily basis. And my mind just can't comprehend. And now I'm asking for your help. So if you have tips on how to get better at reading or get better at like understanding sentences, I feel like that is the problem, please comment below, because I clearly need some direction myself. Obviously, after reading a lot of books, you might get more references after a while, and this might help you understand the books you're reading, or at least find some enjoyment in them that you wouldn't otherwise get. But that's what I feel about it. That's about it. I am clearly a plot-driven reader, even though I read a lot of books that aren't plot-driven, but I do like stories and the adventure in them, so that's mainly why I'm here, I guess. And I don't really care about the words. So what do words actually matter to me as long as I am able to understand the text? Sometimes when I read books, and this isn't like, this is also the case for this one, it's the case for this one as well, that I do find sentences that I find to be lovely, and I think to myself, well, that's a nice way of putting it. That's my only, the only time where I could say, okay, this has to be one of those books, one of those mysterious books that just are well written. But why are they well written? I could not tell you. I have no clue. I have no idea. I just find some sentences and I think to myself, well, that's beautifully put, and then we're finished with it. But in general, that doesn't matter to me, I think. But I do not feel that this might evolve at some point. Maybe I'll be the person that reads poems, but at this point, no. I guess I started this video talking about how silly it could get because I have a lot of questions and I don't feel like I have any answers at all. But that's where you come into play. So if you have any idea of how I could understand books like this better, please give me a comment below and we could discuss. Sometimes I get comments from some of you, I'm not going to name names, and I think to myself, this is an intelligent person and we need to align. We need to come to the right level so you know how I interpret texts. That seems like a lot of work, but yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. But anyway, if you have suggestions for if you have suggestions for easily read books or how to get better at interpreting difficult books, please comment below. And thank you for watching this little video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!